for such contracts. There are only 1 or 2 companies who bid for such big contracts in Toronto. A lot of money changes hands. So there's a lot of waste in Canada. You will be surprised that in countries like India, they laid 160 or 170 kilometers of rail line, transit line in capital of India, which is more densely populated than Toronto. It is one of the most densely populated cities. They did it in only 2, 3, 4 years. And they had about 70, 80 railway stations in that, as part of that. And the total budget cost was about 2.5 billion, something like that. Now they are announcing, when they announce projects in countries like India and maybe in China also, because I don't know what is happening with respect to transit in cities like Shanghai and other cities, developing cities. But what I am saying is, they are announcing in India projects, okay, we are launching a 30 kilometers transit line which will be completed in next 2 years at a cost of 138 million. Here, have you ever heard anybody saying we will complete a transit in 2 years or 3 years at a cost of a couple of millions? No. They don't do it here. They will say it will take us 20 years to lay a railway line from Toronto to this place, and we will have environment studies and all that. There also the environment studies were done. And a lot of foreign companies have got the contracts in India, and if foreign companies could do these things at that prices, we can do it here. I have a plan, and I have read the strategy of Jim Jones, the regional councillor. I found him a good guy who has taken pains like me to study transit. But I deviate from his study because he's still born here, brought up here. He cannot come out of that mindset. He wants to use 407 corridor to lay transit, and I am for it. Now the only thing is, transit is managed by Greater Toronto Transit Authority, which has been created as an independent body. But if I become mayor, and if I am able to influence the provincial government and the transit body, and I can say, I want to implement this transit in next 2 years on certain corridors, say Warden Kennedy corridor, Highway 7 to Steeles corridor. These are within Markham. We don't have to depend on seek permission from Toronto. And I'll say we'll do it in maybe $100 million. What is $100 million? If we have a budget, we can raise that money, or I can create a corporation, give it to a private corporation to create that entity, and then they will survive on the fares from people. So my target is not far-fetched that I am planning to create transit. I am planning to create routes within Markham very shortly during my mayoral tenure of 2 to 4 years. And secondly, I will not rerun for mayor if I am elected, and unless I'll ask for referendum. If they like me, then only I'll go for second term. I'll give up. And that is my promise to Markham citizens. So I will give you a transit in very, very short time. I will endeavor, I will try my level best. At least, there are so many Chinese cars flying from on Pacific Mall to this mall, and on that route of Kennedy Road, Warden, and those things. At least I can connect them from Highway 7 to that place by LRT, by overhead rail, immediately within 1 or 2 years, by spending only a couple of $1 million. And then second thing I am planning about transit is, I have a plan which is done in a lot of Asian countries. I want to launch rapid taxis, which are fixed fare rapid taxis along arterial roads in Markham. That is taxis plying on Kennedy Road, Warden Road, 16th Avenue, Highway 7, and all these big roads from end to end. And there will be a fixed fare of $2. And I will encourage unemployed people and those people to get only fixed fare taxi plates, and they will operate vans. And this will enable people to hop into a van, which will be easy to hop in, because it's difficult to hop into cars because of the seat belts and all those things. We'll have sort of mini vans which are catered as rapid taxis, fixed fare. And they will hop in for $2. They'll be able to go from Highway 7 to Pacific Mall, in maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, because they will not have to wait for buses. Our York transit is mismanaged. We have bus coming after half an hour, 20 minutes on certain roads, sometimes 1 hour. Saturday, Sundays we don't have buses. So this thing will reduce congestion, because people who are opening shops, people who are working within Markham, they will not need to take their cars. They'll just hop into those things, reach Pacific Mall, reach this place, reach Warden from Kennedy, along the Highway 7. So they can reach many places. So for every 100 cars we are operating, I'll be able to keep 5,000 cars at home. So this is the novel thing I am professing. So now I'll open up to questions, because so that later on you will be easy. We have a total operating budget of $187 million for Markham.
187. Okay.
Operating budget is different from capital budget.
Okay.
Operating budget is to manage the operations of the day-to-day operations of the city.
Okay.
Like any repair, anything. It's not for capital projects. Out of $187 million, old cities, and in older times, nothing was their development, nothing from other sources. Everything used to come out of tax levies, property taxes. And that is the concept I want to follow. I don't want to have uncertain sources, like I would like to have my operating budget from recreation fees, or from swimming fees, or from skating fees, or from some classes they run in town of Markham, city of Markham. So nowadays what has happened is cities have started diverting, because they know that if they raise property taxes they become unpopular. So they know that to run the city they need $187 million.
Okay.
Now they have found uncertain sources of money. And those sources which I have described are certain fees which city is empowered to charge us. So out of $187 million we get a tax levy, our share, of $125 to $127 million. That is out of $565 million total tax we collect from residents and businesses.
That's a $60 million.
$565 million. We only get to keep $127 million. We transfer over $250 million to York region every year. Means we are transferring to them. We are running our city, but we are giving more than double to them. So that doesn't make sense.
So we have a $60 million gap here.
No. We keep only $127 million.
Okay, we need the 100.
We need 187, but,
so we
out of $127 million, we pay $111 million to salaries of municipal employees. Okay. So we are left with only $16 million to run the city.
Okay.
1/6.
Okay.
Now we have a shortfall, because we need that to reach $187 million. $187 million minus $111 million, we have that shortfall. So we have only $16 million. So out of that, 127 means we have a $60 million shortfall. We have 16 million in our pocket now to run the city, 1/6. So we are still short of $54 million. Now we try to raise it through recreation fees, and a lot of people are crying about recreation fee, especially poor families. So from that we managed to get another 20, 30, 40 million dollars. And then we have parking fees, we have certain other fees, and licenses they issue, and animal tags and those things, which are also rising. So they try to get the balance of that money, that is $54 million, 60 million we needed, 187 minus 127 is 60. Out of 60 we have $16 million. So we are short of $44 million. So they get $44 million from these sources. Okay. From $44 million they have to put money in reserves, which is required by province. So they have to put $20 to $30 million in reserve. So basically out of $44 million they are left with how much money?
14
plus 16 is how much? $30 million. So I said they only have $30 to $40 million to run actual operations of the city, which is very, very small. And when we are collecting through the nose $565 million in property tax, we have only $30 to $40 million to manage the city. Now on the employees side, I want to save $40 million because the ratio of employees is too much. And firstly, if they were from Markham, I would have felt a hurt or a pain to cut down that workforce. But I feel that municipal employees are very arrogant, their service is not good. When you go, you're treated like garbage. You don't get that respect. You file a complaint to Markham, you will never get a response. Nobody will act on it. So the treatment they met out to taxpayers is also not good. It's not an efficient workforce. They have a ratio of 1 employee for 150 residents. Imagine, out of 150 residents, how many will be visiting the city hall every day? Not even one, maybe one odd guy. And still they can't provide good service to them. So what I'm saying is, police has a ratio of 495, one police officer to every 495 or 500 residents of Markham. So if police is crying, oh, and they are more critical, they claim to be, but I don't believe in increasing the police workforce because we don't want to make it a police state, And 500 is a police ratio, 1 to 500 people is one police officer to. Here in Markham, we has 1 employee to 150, which is a joke. I have never seen. Normally, cities are managed by 1 to 1,000, 1 to 2,000 employees because 1 to 2,000 residents. Nobody goes to city hall every day. Nobody calls them. People don't have time. People are just, only when you get a parking ticket, you interact with them. So this is how we arrived at that figure.
Okay.